and we are going to do point two today. That is the assessment criteria. Just a recap of the definition: market research. It involves collecting the data from and about the people. Like you get the data from the people directly or indirectly as well, and even it's only about the humans, people. Therefore, it must follow the legal regulations and ethical standards to ensure that participants' rights are protected and that the research is trustworthy, responsible, and legal. A very important aspect nowadays, which many of the organizations don't consider at all. Ethic is not about the general laws which we follow in the organizations or when we are in a protocol of a meeting. It's for everyone. Ethics must be in the daily lives too, in the personal lives too, and for the daily activities as well. Okay, these were the key legislations we studied. And yes, from here we have to start the lecture, that is 2.2. Explain that how the legislation can impact the market research activities. First, there are two key words which are used in your assessment criteria 2.2. First is the legislation, the laws, the regulations, the policies, everything. And then the impact on what? The market research activities. We just read right now, market research is done from the people and on to the people about them and everything according to it. And then the activities which prevails in it. We're going to study about that. The command verb explain means to make something clear to someone by describing or revealing relevant information in more detail. Whatever points are going to be in your indicative content, you need to explain them all in detail. What is legislation? Now, legislation refers to the body of laws that are passed by a government or the regulatory authority to guide and control behavior within a country. It's not recommended to use all the time the legislations in the organizations and like SMEs and the sole traders in the home. It is for the country, first of all. When you make things in the formulation, law, order, everything, then things are going to be very easy for everyone to follow as well. You know whom to report, how to report, where to go. Like when you upgrade your passport or you're making the passport for the very first time, there is a certain set of procedure which we have go through. In the context of the business, legislation ensures that companies operate fairly. That is, there is no, corruption and fudging up of the data. Ethically, ethics are really important, and legally as well, because it's really easy to go for the second way, but the first way is always difficult and compact with so many laws and orders. Especially when dealing with the consumer rights. That is why we have so many NPOs in the countries. Instead of business, legislation ensures that companies operate fairly. Fairly means to be not fetching up the data, to be quite loyal with each and every step. Ethics. Ethics is really important. How respectfully we're doing in dealing with the task, with the law, with the order. Legally, it's really easy to always grab the other way, that is the unlawful one, but it takes time and you need to be consistent when laws are added to stuff. Like when you have to make up the passports, you need to upgrade your even the akamas as well. There is a proper way you need to go to everyone, a person associated with it, and then things get better for you people. And then it's for the consumer rights, personal data, advertisements, and the communication. For the consumer rights, we have specific non-profit organizations that are the NPOs. They actually work as a proper organization and they deal with this. Like all of us are the cards, zakat, charity, donations. Obviously, we are Muslims. We give it annually basis or even on the monthly basis too, depending on your salary and the stuff of the assets. But these are the things which we are accountable for as well. We must have a proper knowledge that where they are being used, who are getting benefit out of it, what's XYZ. So these NPOs, even in Saudi, they are excellent organizations. They work properly on these things. In Saudi Arabia, SMEs must follow the specific laws and regulatory frameworks that influence how they can conduct the market research. Now, this can be a question to do a research on. Every country, ethics, laws, style, dilemma is very different while conducting the market research. because of the contradictions we have. Saudi is known for its rich culture, historic culture, and having an Islamic values too, other than the UAE and Oman and Qatar, right? It has some
Mm-hmm.
extra stuff in it. So the working order, the working mechanism also differs. Particularly laws related, like in 2026, I just read a document that the foreigners, they're going to be granted the permissions to buy the property in Saudi. It's a good thing. In this way, what will happen? The Saudi economy is going to expand, and you people are going to have the FDIs in your country. That is the foreign direct investment. It's a very good opportunity, but Islamically, it's going to lead to something else like a Western culture, way too common now. But for the country, for the economy, it's a best decision. Okay. Laws related to data privacy, consumer protection, and communication standards as well. Now we need to consider these two as well, that how we are saving up the data of the consumers, because that's your personal thing and we cannot leak it out or hack it out. In consumer protection, the rights of the humans and the standards of the community depends on company style, the structure, each and everything. Then the market research activities, what sort of these could be? First is always collecting and analyzing the customer data through what? Surveys, interviews, online feedback. You get to know the community, the people, their likes, their dislikes, needs, and wants by interacting with them through the social media apps, polls, ratings, reviews, and then you come up with something new or upgrade the existing product. Studying the consumer behavior and preferences, their buying pattern, their behavior, that's really important. What the public is demanding, we need to fulfill that. Testing the marketing message, that is the advertisements and new product ideas. Like whenever you have to launch a new product, for example, it's a food, like ready to eat food. For example, a new variety of a nugget or a croquette, what will they do? They're going to send the free sample. Sometimes they cook it and make sure you try it in the different grocery stores. And then when you are convinced, you can buy as well. To protect individuals and maintain ethical standards, these activities are influenced by the legal boundaries. And again, everything is backed by the law and order. You alone are not doing anything on your own or just by an XYZ source. Okay, now starts the points which were from your indicative content. First one is the PDP in UK and in other countries. It's the GDP as well and GDPR Act 2018 and 1998 as well. A PDP stands for the Personal Data Protection Law. Introduced in 2021, the PDPL regulates the collection, after the COVID specifically, processing and storage of personal data by the businesses in the kingdom. Before that, things were quite random. Things were more recorded manually rather than in the systems through the robots and the chatbots. Now things are quite systematic. It aligns with the global standards like the Europe's GDPR, that is the General Data Protection Right Act. Impact on the market research of the PDPL. First is researcher must obtain consent, that is your consent, your will, your permission before collecting any personal data, for example, name, phone, email preferences. It happens a lot, right? Maybe you have figured it out in the recent times or not, but they always ask the permission first when they're recording the things. Data must be stored securely and not shared without permission. That is, there is a proper confidentiality factor present here. Businesses must inform participants how their idea and data will be used, not the idea, the data. Like on the annual basis, different governmental bodies, NPO members, they go to the houses and ask questions from them. Sometimes they go to the organizations where the candidates or the people work. What are they doing actually? They're collecting the data. Sometimes they collect the data from even the hospitals. What is the ratio of
Mm-hmm.
the AIDS patient, people with the polio, people with low eyesight? Now the current issue is the toddlers having the autism, ADHD, speech delay, Down syndrome kids. These too are people, right? And they too have the rights. So it's kind of market research. Now what's happening? when we are doing the research on these sort of kids and category, which is going on in the nation at the moment after COVID specifically, we are producing more magnesium product because it helps in regulation of sleep, melatonin products. Then we are trying to make those areas, play areas, which have more soft content. That is, they're not the playlands like we used to have in our kids' time. Now we interact those things in which they use their cognitive skills, their thinking, their mindsets, and colors as well. With that, we are now working on those cafeterias where we can read and we can enjoy with the cats as well. How it happened? Through the research, by getting to know the audience, the consumers. For example, Sala, a Saudi e-commerce SME, conducts customer feedback surveys on its platform to comply with the PDF, that is the act, the law, the legislation. It displays the data usage policy before the survey begins. What it says, we're about to collect the data, like a permission which they take, like any application takes, and then you say, okay, I agree with it. You tick a box. It anonymizes result before the analysis. Your name, your identity, your gender won't be released at all. It's just anonymously going on, just collecting up the data, working on the conclusion. Customers must check a box to consent to their data being used, the one which I just told right now. You tick first, and then you can fill up the form or the survey. Impact. The law limits how the Sala can use the customer insights, their likes and dislikes, pushing them to build transparent, that is translucent, being opaque. There is no ambiguity at the back door, and ethical research systems as well. Even when you're going to attempt in your assignments now, the task one, I believe, or task two.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
task one. There you don't need to talk about the legislation itself. You only need to work on the impact on market research, like what this act is having
Okay.
effect on the research. That's it. So it's not like
Mm-hmm.
you have to learn history or you have to research way too in depth about the acts and everything. It's all about market research.
Okay.
Hmm. Then comes e-commerce law and anti-spam regulation, that is by the Ministry of Commerce. Every country do have it. The brief introduction of this is these laws prevent businesses from sending unsolicited promotional messages, that is the spam. We do get it right in the email section as well, spams messages, and even in the junk section too. There is a lot crap added to it. And if you just open up an email, which is not from your contact list, sometimes your system gets hacked. It's really common nowadays. Even in the WhatsApp, it's happening nowadays. Just click on the link and everything is going to be boosted up. Or WhatsApp, especially when linked to the research or disguised selling. Impact on market research of the law, the anti-spam regulation one. SMEs cannot use email surveys or feedback requests unless customers have agreed to receive such communication. Because you directly are in contact with the consumer, you're dealing with them on the daily basis. So you ask them directly whether you want to be upgraded through the emails or not. But if it's a private limited company or a multinational company, you cannot call every customer on the phone call or the WhatsApp. We're going to send them the emails, a proper protocol of communication. Researchers must avoid disguising the sales promotions as surveys, which we do. Like, I don't know why, but whenever the summer comes, and on my SIM number, which is again a Pakistani number, I always hit up the different messages from different sources. I have never texted those people about
Mm.
AC service, about discount offers. And I wonder how they get my number. Definitely that data, the company of which I'm having the SIM card in my phone is leaking up the data, breaching up the data. There is a system crackdown in their system because I don't know those numbers. They're not in my contacts. Must offer an opt-out option in all communication. That is, whenever you want to, like, you feel like it's all done, I'm done with it, you can just break up the process. Sometimes you're packed with the contracts. For example, the Tamimi market is an SME, a large grocery chain with SME level branches. Now, what it is, in even small medium enterprise category, we have larger SMEs as well. It's not confined to only one bakala shop with one person or one worker. No. It can be a grocery store as well with 2 to 3 people, 4 to 5 people. It collects feedback via the SMS, a very good way because we use WhatsApp, we use different sources of communication, but SMS, the sending message system, is too easy as well. Only the consumers who opted in during loyalty card registration receive the messages. Like when you shop from the good brands, they always ask you your number, your email address, and phone number. And when there is an update going on, there is a sale or there is something new product promotion, they always hit you up with a text. Each message includes a link to unsubscribe as well. It happens, I don't know about the Saudi SIMs a lot because we only use it for the Umrah purposes. But here in Pakistan, it's like that. If you want to, add a caller tune on your call or any dua or something, you can always subscribe and subscribe to it and it's paid. You pay for it. Research and promotions are clearly separated because it's a different department. That's why research is handled by the research and development department, that is R&D. Promotion is handled by the marketing department. Impact. The Mimi had to adjust their survey frequency and build consent collection into loyalty setup or sign up. That is, if they will to, they can sign up, or they just can unsubscribe everything. It's not a mandation every time that you need to give the number and everything. Then comes the advertising and consumer protection laws. The Saudi Consumer Protection Law that is regulated by the Ministry of Commerce, the second point and the third point. These two are all backed by the Ministry of Commerce. In every country, there's different ministries. It's not like only one ministry. Okay, it ensures that marketing and advertisement or advertising do not mislead or deceive consumers. That is what you are showing, you are actually going to send that as well. It happens a lot, like in those advertisements which are related to food. They make sure the food looks quite tempting in the advertisement, but in reality, it's not most of the time. And the advertisements of the cigarette, vape, it's really bad. In most of the country, it is banned as well. You cannot show it on the public TV, like the television. Impact, businesses must not fake surveys to gather data for promotion. Like these companies, Shein, Temu, what they do, they even buy the fake reviews. This can be of the fake surveys as well. Fake surveys are what? You're granting different, like one person can fill up the forms for 1,000 consumers. In reality, it's not a good product. So you need to see how many products are sold. Only then you can buy those products online. Questions in research must be truthful, non-manipulative, and culturally appropriate. Why truthful? Because you need to be biased. We cannot be unbiased or show the favoritism in the survey questionnaire. Non-manipulative, sometimes they manipulate you on those things where you are convinced that, okay, maybe they're right and we should go for it. Culturally appropriate, where you are standing, in which country you're taking the survey, you need to fulfill each and every obligation of that. Survey must not promote products disguised as research. What it means, which are not good one for the people, for the general public, we should not publicly promote it. Like I told you, the cigarettes and the vapes. And even you have seen, there is a large proportion of people getting crazy for the cold drinks and for the junk food, though we know that it's not good for health. So what should we do? We should go for the fresh juices and advertise those. Boutique Abaya in Jeddah ran a social media poll asking users to vote on the designs. To comply with the consumer protection law, what they did, they clearly stated that the poll was for designing the input, not a giveaway. Because you need to, what they're doing, they're not manipulating or deceiving the consumers. They're asking directly the question in the poll format, and they want to improve their selves. That is why they're asking the stuff. It's not for the giveaway and everything. They did not collect the personal data or use responses for the targeted sales. That is, if the consumers are targeting up the sales for the large size abaya or medium size abaya, so we can restrict its production or its quantity so that people can buy at full prices. Impact, they avoided deceptive advertisement and maintained trust with their consumers. What they are doing, they're showing it as well, and they're being quite truthful in each and every step. So there were three legislation in 2.2, and we have the impact on research activities and the XME example, just a summary. PDPL, again, it's known as the data protection law as well. It requires the consent, your permission, your will, limits the data sharing, mandates secure storage. It's the safer one. For example, Sala used the opt-in surveys and anonymized feedback. They are improving themselves as well, but they're not showing their name, like your name, your address, and everything. Anti-spam and e-commerce law limits the unsolicited surveys required opt-out options. Whenever you feel like, you can just leave it. The Mimi markets added the SMS outputs, opt-outs, and consent checks. Like you can unsubscribe it as well if you want to. It's not mandatory to always hit up those texts. Lastly, the consumer protection and advertising law. It prevents fake surveys and misleading tactics. It's all about truth. Take a buy and show transparency in the polls. Research is conducted transparently and respectfully. That is the ethic is important in each and every aspect. Marketing and survey activities are clearly separated because marketing is a separate department. It is held with different laws, and survey activities is totally different because we need the feedback from the people, from the consumer, but it is in the different forms. SMEs like Sala, Tamimi Market, and Boutique Abaya show that compliance is not, that is the regulation, law, is not only necessary for the legal reasons, but also builds customer trust and loyalty, that is the loyalty scheme, which is essential for the long-term success. No matter what, if you are loyal to a certain brand, you are going to go there at all costs. An example, e-commerce platform. Saada is a real SME based in Saudi Arabia that helps these small businesses set up and run their online stores. Like it's an helping aid SME, which is doing work. It is helping you to set up your small businesses. With that, they're helping you to run the online stores too. It also collects the customer feedback regularly to improve its features and user experience. Like your Noon Mart, like the app which people use, they're regularly upgrading themselves, right? They don't stick with one stance. Why are they doing it? For the customer's relaxation, so that you can enjoy and have a nice shopping stuff. Objective. Now, this wanted to collect the feedback from the store owners who use its platform to improve its mobile app interface. Just like the Noon, what they are doing. They have the interaction with the owners and then they upgrade the stuff which they wanted to. Planned market research activity for this, sent email and SMS surveys to 10,000 registered users. Like definitely you people have the subscription for the Lulu market, for the hypermarket, and for the different stores. And when there is an offer going on, you always hit up with the text. Ask users about the app performance, suggestions, and preferred features. Like what do you want to add in it more or something extra which you want. Offer a discount voucher to the encourage responses. That's true. Like if you shop with this limit, you're going to get a discount or something like that. However, there are challenges as well, which we faced due to the legislation. The first one was the PDPL or the GDPR one issue, the problem. They could not send surveys to everyone because many had not agreed to receive emails for research. We did not click on that box. Action taken, they filtered the list to only those users who had opted in for communication, who really want to know what's new trend or what's the new update. Impact, target group reduces from 10,000 to 6,200 users, but they complied with the law and avoided penalties. They were still under the pact of PDPL, the law, but now it reduced to 6,200 only. Anti-spam and e-commerce law. Problem, sending bulk SMS was risky without clear opt-in records. Like to whom you're sending, you have no idea, you're just sending randomly. Action, they switched from SMS to in-app notifications where the users had already agreed to app updates. Like sometimes your phone systems also updates and different application wants an upgradation. So you allow it, only then it does. And if you don't, what happens? It has glitches. Impact, maintained user privacy, and avoided the spam complaints. Because you're doing the homework first, then you don't need to worry about the end. Consumer protection law, the misleading practices one by the Ministry of Commerce, sorry. Problem originally, the survey invitation looked like a product promotion. That is, the user thought they were getting free services. It feels like, but indirectly, what they do, they charge you the hidden charges. It happens. Action taken, they rewrote the message to clearly state that this is a customer satisfaction survey to improve our app. Completing it will earn you a 10% discount. That is what will happen. You in your mind, the thing which just gets stuck is that you're getting the discount. But you shop for maybe 1,000 real, for maybe 500 real, and you're only getting that percent discount. That is how they play with the emotions. And this is a very big tactic in the business. Mostly they go for the promotion 75%, 99.9% results. Over 1,500 users completed the survey because they were literally drooling over 10% discount. The app team received 5 strong suggestions that were later improved. So what happened after this? Over 1,500 users completed the survey because they were drooled over 10% discount. That was the main reason. And why they did that? Because it reduced the confusion as well. People know why they're doing it. Then the participation rate also increased to 1,500. The app team received 5 strong suggestions that were later implemented, a good thing. Out of 1,500, only 5 were the suggestions on which the company thought and they implemented as well. Customers appreciated the transparency and professionalism, that is being opaque, being translucent. By complying with the data protection, anti-spam, and consumer protection laws, Sala but Customer Trust avoided the legal risk and still collected valuable feedback for the business improvement. Now, what they did not encounter it with the extra charges or something like that. They did the improvement by the consent of the consumers, and in return, they were giving them the 10% discount and gaining them with the more and more profit. So that was the example in which I wanted to demonstrate that whether you understood the assessment criteria 2.2 or not. Now it's all up to you. If you want to write the answer or whatever even the points as well, which you want to discuss in the class, like what you, when you search about this question, what you saw on the internet or any YouTube video, like anything,